Did the luggage arrive? My parents are moving in with us starting today. Please take care of them.
What a joke. Those were the first words that came out of him. As if I wasn't angry enough with James already. Just how selfish can James be?
Well, that's that. I'm sure you'll be fine.
I knew what James was up to. He wanted to keep me in check by bringing his parents over while hoping to receive various forms of support himself. Anger surged through me, but I quickly smirked.
Oh, I've already moved out. What?
I had to suppress my laughter at James's dumbfounded voice. It seemed he had forgotten who owned that house. My brother Liam, who was listening in, was also trying hard not to laugh.
Did you forget? That house originally belonged to my grandparents, and it's in my name.
Oh.
So, whose permission were you planning to get for this cohabitation?
The last thing I wanted was to let such people into my home. Natalie, who enjoys harassing me, and Joseph, who does what he pleases to his grandson without caring about his feelings. And so I continued.
Did you think I didn't know anything? You'll pay the price for this.
My name is Layla. I'm a 32-year-old working mother on parental leave. I have a husband, James, and a 1-year-old son, Oliver. Oliver has recently started walking on his own, so he requires constant attention. Yet, his toddling around is incredibly endearing, and it's comforting when he calls me with his small mouth.
Oliver really loves his mom, huh?
I met James, the father of our son Oliver, through work. My family runs a traditional bakery. Every day, we bake delicious bread, and with smiles, we sell it alongside my parents and brother. Excuse me, miss. Could I have your name and contact details? One day, James, a regular customer, approached me. Seeing James blush as he asked me out, I found him endearing, and we started dating. Your cooking is delicious. Is it? Thank you. Yeah. So, will you continue to cook for me? By my side. And so, we got married without any issues. My parents were overjoyed by our marriage, but my younger brother Liam always seemed to be looking on with skepticism. But he didn't particularly object, so I believe he's happy for us.
Liam says he will take over the shop because living with us would just wear James out.
So with my father's suggestion, the three of us are living in my deceased grandparents' house. We plan to watch Oliver grow up together here. One day, I took Oliver shopping with me. Oliver was holding my hand and toddling as hard as he could.
Oh, Oliver!
We came together. Now, say hello to your grandma.
Oh my God, Oliver!
When we bought bread at my parents' bakery, the regulars and my parents greeted Oliver with smiles. Oliver, unafraid of strangers, was always smiling. Since our house and the bakery are about an hour's drive apart, we visit my parents' home about once a month. And when Oliver and I, in high spirits, returned home.
What? Don't tell me.
The entrance door was unlocked. And there, familiar shoes greeted us. And, as expected, I sighed. Natalie, we did ask you to call ahead before coming, didn't we?
Finally back, are you? Where on earth have you been?
Ignoring my words, my mother-in-law laid there, watching TV. She probably entered using the spare key James had given her. I sighed again at Natalie, who never listens, no matter how many times I tell her.
Come on, don't dawdle. Get on with the chores. I'll take care of Oliver.
Saying so, she grabbed Oliver from me, telling me to clean up the mess from the snacks she had eaten. I wish she'd clean up after herself and not touch my son with her crumb-covered hands.
But if I tell her so, it would result in her complaining, as if I'm dirty, and to Oliver, she would exaggerate and say, "What a scary mommy." Excuse me, Natalie. Please don't say weird things to Oliver.
I retorted to Natalie and took sleepy Oliver to his room. Then, enduring Natalie's sarcastic remarks, I continued with the chores. Honestly, I wish I could just ignore Natalie, but if I take my eyes off her for even a moment, she would try to take Oliver and leave.
You're such a bore.
I'll be leaving now. Saying so, Natalie left. Which was a relief for me, so I saw her out with a smile.
Natalie can be such a handful.
Muttering to myself, I finished the chores I had left midway. I understand Natalie wants to see Oliver, her only grandchild. But I really wish she would stop coming to our house every day, using the spare key to let herself in.
Hey, could you please take the spare key away from Natalie?
What? Why? After James came home, I talked to him about Natalie. James looked troubled even after hearing me out. I glared at James.
If you don't take the spare key from Natalie, I'll change the locks. And I won't give you a key this time.
Okay, all right.
I'll take the spare key from Mom.
Are you happy? Pressured by me, James reluctantly agreed. I thought this would make things a bit better. But I was about to be disappointed.
I'm going to take the spare key from her, so could you come to my parents' house with me this weekend?
James asked me. Reluctantly, but wanting to see the key taken away myself for the sake of my mind's peace, I agreed to go to my in-laws with Oliver.
You're finally here. There's plenty of housework for you, so get moving. We'll take care of Oliver.
As soon as we entered my in-laws' house, Oliver was taken by my in-laws, and I was burdened with chores. Glancing at James, he stubbornly avoided my gaze. James tricked me. He set me up. Despite feeling betrayed, the odds were 3-1 against me. Wanting to leave the dusty and dirty in-laws' house as soon as possible, I quickly got to work. While I was cleaning, I heard Oliver's loud cries.
Oliver! What's wrong?
Rushing over in a panic, I found Oliver crying and squirming in Joseph's arms, reaching out towards me. I quickly took Oliver from Joseph's grasp.
What did you do to Oliver?
Quiet down. We didn't do anything to him. Yeah, that's right. When I glared, James, who had turned practically invisible, explained what happened. Apparently, Joseph grabbed Oliver as he was trying to follow me and forcibly held him back. Despite Oliver's desire to come to me, Joseph was tossing him around as if they were just playing. That's why Oliver was bawling. That's the reason I rushed over.
Oliver is such a crybaby for a boy.
Exactly.
It's because he's being raised by a bad mother.
He should be with us.
I can't leave Oliver in a place like this. Excuse us.
I hugged Oliver tightly and stormed out of the in-laws' house. I shouldn't have trusted James's words. I'm sorry, Oliver. Once home, I put the worn-out Oliver to bed and vented to my mother about everything. James, who I left at his parents' house, didn't even bother to contact us. About an hour later, the doorbell rang.
Sis, can I talk to you? Liam? What's up all of a sudden? Mom said to check on you. I brought this as a gift.
There stood Liam, holding a loaf of bread from our family bakery. He offered to do the housework for me, saying I must be tired, and cheerfully took care of Oliver when he woke up, brightening both our moods.
You're a lifesaver, Liam.
It's nothing.
We're family, after all. Mom also said you can come back home anytime.
Hearing that, I felt a deep sense of relief knowing I had such a supportive family. James returned a few hours after Liam left. He had the nerve to come back after eating at his parents' house.
I've been hurt by all of this, and Oliver too. I'm really sorry. But it's not like my parents meant any harm. Oliver was crying.
He would show signs of remorse when I got angry. But it didn't seem sincere, and I couldn't trust him anymore. I was even starting to think about divorce.
James, wake up. James?
When I woke up in the morning, James was nowhere to be found. Instead, there was a note left behind.
I'm heading to Los Angeles for a business trip starting today. Such things should be said in person.
Well, it's less irritating without him here. And taking some distance might help us cool down.
If he's not here, changing the locks shouldn't be a problem, right? This will give us some peace for a while, Oliver.
Oliver, looking at me laughing, laughed too, even though he didn't understand the words. With him by my side, I didn't need James. That was what I was thinking. So, we started living separately for a while. It seemed he was on a long business trip and very busy, making it difficult for him to return. I really miss seeing Oliver. And I miss your cooking. The distance between us led to reconciliation, and we were reporting to each other via video call once a week. Meanwhile, there was no contact from Natalie. Despite changing the locks, I half expected her to keep ringing the doorbell, but nothing happened. It was peaceful, yet inside me was this feeling of an eerie calm before the storm.
Sis, something terrible has happened.
That's when I got a call from Liam, sounding panicked. Listening to him, I learned a secret about James.
That idiot. I'll never forgive him.
Filled with anger, I began to prepare for retaliation. My parents, informed by Liam, also helped, and everything was ready 2 days later. Just as Liam and I were about to leave the house with Oliver, there was a knock.
I have a delivery for you. Is that so? Please leave it here for now.
A huge amount of luggage arrived at our house. The names on it were my in-laws. I immediately called James.
Did the luggage arrive? My parents are moving in with us starting today. Please take care of them.
What a joke. That was the first thing he said. As if I wasn't angry enough with James already. How selfish can James be?
Well, that's that. I'm sure you'll be fine.
I knew James's intentions well enough. He wanted to use his parents moving in as leverage over me, hoping to get various kinds of support from them. Rage surged through me, but I quickly smirked back at him.
Oh, I've already moved out. What?
James's dumbfounded voice was hard to hold back laughter at. Apparently, he had forgotten who owned that house. Even Liam, listening by, struggled to keep his laughter in check.
Did you forget? That house originally belonged to my grandparents, and it's in my name.
Oh.
So, whose permission were you planning to get for this cohabitation?
The idea of letting those people into my home was out of the question. Natalie, who enjoys harassing me, and Joseph, who does what he pleases to his grandson without caring about his feelings. And so I continued.
Did you think I didn't know anything? You'll pay the price for this.
Who would want to live with a husband who cheats while on business trips?
Hold on, moved out? Exactly as I said. I've already sold the house. What? Why would you do something so drastic without telling me? My parents are supposed to arrive there this afternoon.
It seemed he had planned to force the cohabitation on me without my consent. The reason Natalie hadn't dropped by unannounced recently must have been because she was busy packing for the move. I can only imagine how tough it must have been to clear out the cluttered in-laws' house. But that was none of my business.
That's not my problem. Don't you dare joke with me.
You're the one joking, aren't you?
Your parents' belongings are in front of the entrance. Goodbye.
With that, I hung up the phone. He tried calling back immediately, but I rejected the call and blocked all his contacts.
Sorry for making you wait. It's fine. Let's go.
I truly owed Liam. The revelation of James's affair came through him. Liam had spotted James arm in arm with an unfamiliar woman at Universal Studios in Los Angeles, where he had gone with his girlfriend, Emily.
I hadn't seen James since the wedding, but I remembered him because he was a regular at the bakery.
Liam managed to capture evidence of the affair and informed me. Then, with my parents' help, I quickly started making arrangements. Among the bakery's regulars was a private investigator who gathered further evidence. Through connections, a lawyer was introduced to me. A real estate friend of my father's quickly took action regarding the house.
The house was renovated before you two moved in, making it very appealing. It's close to a school and within walking distance to a train station. So, it will sell high and it would be easy to find a buyer.
True to his word, the house was sold quickly. And today was supposed to be the closing day, but instead, a massive amount of in-laws' belongings arrived.
Welcome back, Layla. And you too, Oliver. Both of you, welcome home. You must be tired.
Thanks to my parents' warm welcome, I let out a sigh of relief.
I'm home.
As I said it with a smile, Oliver too chirped in energetically. Everyone laughed in response. Now, all that's left is to fight back.
Mama will do her best, so cheer for me, okay?
To my words, Oliver showed his usual adorable smile.
Ah, Layla. Are you the shop assistant today? That's right. Hope you buy a lot.
Then, I started manning the storefront while taking care of Oliver. The regulars greeted me with smiles. Being back at the shop was a joyful time for me. It was thinking so to myself when James and the in-laws appeared.
Layla. Layla.
I stopped what I was doing, handed Oliver over to my mother, and confronted James and his parents.
Let's not disturb the customers here, shall we step outside? I don't care about the other customers. Forget about them, how could you be so selfish? Oh, like going on a business trip and cheating is any better?
My words caused the regulars to give James cold looks. Noticing that, James went silent for a moment, but he retorted back.
We planned to live in that house, and we sold our home for it. Where do you expect us to live now? And according to James, it seems like Layla is the one who's been cheating.
The in-laws started shouting that. I was taken aback by Joseph's words. Me, cheating? That's absolutely impossible. I am devoted solely to Oliver.
What are you talking about? I've never cheated. Lies. A young man was seen leaving our house.
A young man coming and going from that house, that could only be.
Must be my younger brother, Liam. What? Your brother? Didn't I tell you? I have a younger brother.
As we were talking, Liam appeared from the back. Seeing his face, James looked surprised.
It's been since the wedding, James. What? That's really your brother? So? You thought I was cheating and without checking, and you cheated yourself?
The business trip was real. However, he had met a woman there and developed a relationship. And without returning home, he chose to nurture his love instead.
And then, you went into debt for her. What?
At my words, the in-laws now turned their gaze sharply towards James. Meanwhile, James's face turned pale, wondering, how did you know?
Unlike you, I did my investigation properly. Not satisfied with just our joint account money, you resorted to borrowing, right? Was it $20,000?
When I checked the account after a long time, there were only a few dollars left, which was a shock. Basically, our living expenses were covered by the salary I had before going on maternity leave. That money was deposited into my personal account from before we were married, securely saved without being touched. For the joint account, we had agreed to deposit money regularly for Oliver's future expenses.
But this is too much. Shall we let others decide then?
My house, inherited from my grandparents and in my name, where James decided on his own to move his parents in, while he indulged in affairs and debts. Me, angered by James, selling my house and moving back to my parents.
Who's in the wrong here, huh?
At my words, the regulars glared at James and his family. Realizing they were at a disadvantage, James and his family backed down.
Could you please leave?
With a smile, I said that, and James and his party hastily left the store. After successfully driving them away, I received applause from the regulars, making me blush and smile shyly. Later, for the affair and for storming into the bakery during business hours, causing a disturbance, I demanded compensation from James and his family. James, already burdened with debt from his affair, and his inherently irresponsible in-laws had no money. Thus, they had to sell whatever they could to come up with the money.
Days later, James came back to me, saying, I truly regret everything. Please help me.
Saying this, James clung to me desperately. I sighed deeply at James.
Do you think I can trust your apologies?
No, this time I really am.
Enough. If you keep pestering me, I'll call the police.
James looked dejected at my words. I gave him a cold stare.
I know why you wanted to live with those two.
James shivered at my words. The in-laws had always complained about their small house and wanted someone for housekeeping. Essentially, they wanted to live in that house with me being their housekeeper. James, always swayed by me, thought having his parents around would make me listen. If they managed to cohabit, he planned to use the saved money for his affair or debt repayment. He probably hoped they'd find my savings account from before I was single.
Am I wrong? How do you know all that? Working in customer service means observing people. Plus, I married you because I loved you, even if you approached me first. If you love someone even once, you watch them closely, and living together, I've come to understand your way of thinking.
James looked down. And then James, in anger, tried to hit me.
Damn it!
But his hand was stopped before it could reach me by someone who intervened.
That's going too far.
Liam glared sharply at James. Liam has been practicing martial arts since he was young, so he's in very good shape. James, gripped and glared at by my strong brother, completely lost his energy and slumped.
Don't you ever show your face in front of my sister again!
Shouted by Liam, James left with a pathetic sound.
Thanks, Liam. Don't mention it. If anything happens, just let me know. I'll chase them away.
Liam, saying this with a smile, seemed incredibly reliable.
You used to be such a crybaby, always hiding behind me. Come on, stop it. I'm an adult now. And I have things to protect. Right. You definitely can't become like that man. Liam laughed at my words, of course.
I knew he would protect Emily properly.
Both of you, I need your help.
Okay. Called by my mom, we returned to the store. After that, James, seemingly terrified of Liam, didn't show his face again. Furthermore, when the divorce papers were sent through a lawyer, he signed them without fuss. And so, we were officially divorced.
Actually, the regulars were furious about what happened, saying, "How dare you make Layla suffer?"
According to my mom, the regulars had spread the word about what happened at the store. It became a rumor, and employees at James's company got the wind of it. James quickly lost his place at the company due to the widespread knowledge. Under the cold gaze of his colleagues, James quit his job.
I know I did wrong, so please help us.
I learned that from a call from Natalie. I had completely forgotten I still had the in-laws' contact information saved because I've been so busy.
What exactly do you want help with?
That would be financial support, of course.
Unfortunately, I'm not kind enough to help someone who has harassed me.
With that, I hung up the phone. This time, I made sure to block the contact information properly. Afterward, James was unable to come up with the money for compensation and child support and ended up incurring even more debt. As for the affair partner, it seems she dumped James quickly after realizing he wasn't single. I heard rumors that the in-laws also had to take on debt and now work tirelessly from morning to night alongside James.
Mommy. What's the matter, Oliver?
On the other hand, we were living peacefully. We take turns looking after Oliver, enjoying our days with plenty of free time. And when I stand at the shop front, the regulars dote on me. Separating from James allowed us to find happiness.
Let's play with Mama today.
At my words, Oliver beamed with an angelic smile. Some time later, our family grew. Liam's wife, Emily, came to live with us. Emily adores Oliver.
I'm so happy to have this little guy as my nephew. With Emily, I think we can build a happy home.
Liam said this with a smile. If someone who is as kind as James chose Emily to be his partner, I'm sure everything will be fine. If there's ever a problem, next time, I'll be the one to help. Since then, there's been no contact from James and his family. Thanks to that, we've been able to enjoy a very peaceful life.
All right, Mommy's going to do her best today, so you stay with Grandma, okay?
From now on, the 5 of us will watch over Oliver's growth. And today, as always, I set out to make delicious bread with determination. Years later, our family grew even more. Liam and Emily got married and had a child. On top of that, someone who wanted to be with me appeared.
If anyone tries to make mommy cry, I'll protect her.
Oliver has also grown and now says things cute like that. Together with Oliver, I will continue to run the bakery.